great client management can mean the difference between a client who stays for the long term or goes. Nobody understands this better than our guest, Tyler McMaster, who owns an agency that provides fractional client account managers to seven-figure agencies. So what's the secret to having a consistent rockstar client account manager? It's all in stellar hiring and training processes. Tune into this episode to learn more. Welcome to the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you're a creative consultant or agency owner who wants to know what the roller coaster ride really looks like to grow your business from one to many, you're in the right place. My guest and I pull back the curtains on the realities of growing and running agencies of different sizes and what it takes to build a team. And if you're anything like me, you want more than the highlight reel. You want to learn from the mistakes of others so that you can stop short of making the same mistakes. I'm your host, Audrey Joy Kwan. I spend my days as a coach and consultant to multiple 6- and 7-figure agency owners. For the last 7 years, I've been behind the scenes helping people grow, lead, and operate small but mighty agencies. Here at the Small But Mighty Agency podcast, we'll uncover what works and, equally as important, what didn't work to get these business owners to where they are today. Hey, Tyler, thanks for being here today. I can't wait to share more about your agency and what you do. Before we do that, tell us about how you started your agency.
Yes. So a number of years ago, I was starting my own marketing agency and I was feeling a little bit lost or not feeling my real true self because I was doing all these things like building Facebook pages and building Facebook ads and all the nitty gritty analytical things that I just am not really good at, if I'm honest with you. And I was feeling a little lost and I was like, I don't want to run an agency anymore. I want to do more of what I'm actually really good at. And that was always talking to clients, project management, emailing, client meetings, being that super organized person, but I didn't want to run an agency. So I started contracting and doing account management and realized that there was such a need in the industry for really good account managers on a fractional basis. And so fast forward 3 years later, I'm now running an agency, but really what I wanted to do was focus more on what I was good at and really just be able to find people in my industry who loved talking to clients and who really, wanted to do this day in and day out and didn't want to have to be the person running the ads on the back end. So yeah, fast forward to three years later, we are a team of 25 and growing. And now that's exclusively what we do is manage clients for agencies.
Tyler, you run an agency that provides fractional client account managers versus a traditional agency that provides marketing services. Your agency is built to serve other agencies in such a unique way. Now, working with different agency owners, I know that the definition of an account manager can mean different things to different agency owners. Tell me more about what is a fractional client account manager.
So what we do are we're really the client-facing person. So we are the client's advocate inside of the agency. So if you think about as soon as you bring on a new client and you go through that sales process, you essentially hand it over to your account manager. That's when we kick off that relationship. So we're talking to the client, we're onboarding the client, and then we are their client-facing person the entire time, managing that relationship. So if you think all the onboarding, client communication and client meetings, and project management, the things that we're not doing are we're not actually running the ads on the back end, and we're not doing sales, and we're not building the entire marketing strategy. We leave that up to the strategist. So we're there to essentially do all the communication, all the project management, while we leave the actual results up to the media buyers or the internal team members.
You have a business with a super clear niche and your ideal client is crystal clear. That's helped you to build the company you have today. Tell us more.
Yeah. So the biggest thing for us has been getting clear on our offer and sticking to that one offer, right? So we've always done account management for agencies in a fractional basis. Since day one, it's essentially been the exact same role that we're offering today. So getting really focused on that one core offering and going deep in there, and then optimizing our processes all around that. So our hiring process has taken literally 3 years to really nail it down. We've got it now, but it's taken so long. We also have, narrowed down our sales process. Who are those agencies that we really want to work with, and who can we actually make a really big impact with inside of their agency? So really understanding that, your pricing is going to change over the years, whether it be how you position your pricing, how you ensure that your pricing is good to scale, that your margins are there. So all these elements that kind of go into a business, we've been optimizing them as we go, but we haven't actually changed our business. And I think that's the biggest thing in our world is, finding something that you're really good at and that your clients need and staying super laser focused on that. And that's something that we've really done over the last 3 years.
I want to pick up on something you just said. You mentioned that hiring is something you've gotten really good at. As an agency inserting fractional client servicing people into other businesses, I imagine that finding the talent is critical to your success as an agency.
So we understand that our biggest asset is our team. So we need to, find those, quote, unicorns out there who are experienced. So on their resume, they have the digital marketing experience in an agency and in the marketing world, as well as those written communication skills, verbal communication skills, video skills, personality, and people that want to work with us in a remote fashion. So all these things that come together are really hard to find. So what we actually do is we market, a big piece of our marketing plan is hiring. So we're going out and we're running ads. We are posting on job boards, and we're essentially like building an entire marketing funnel for our own hiring. And then we kind of put them through different phases of our hiring process and have that really built out. But essentially what we did was we looked at it as if we were building an onboarding process inside of an agency. We need to build a process inside of our business to onboard really amazing account managers. So by the time they go through our entire process, I'm like so confident in these people to put them in front of our clients that I don't even blink an eye. Whereas 3 years ago when we were hiring, it was like, who can we find that we kind of know that might be good, right? And then we figured we could train them up. But what we realized is it's the actual opposite. We need people who are already trained in marketing and communication and video and like all these things that go into an account manager. Then we can add that like little cherry on top of all of our best practices and processes. But we needed really strong people from the beginning. And finding those people is hard, but creating a culture and creating a really good system of finding these people has been just like amazing for us.
Different agencies have different requirements for what they want in the account manager role. In some cases, account managers have responsibilities related to strategy. When clients ask your fractional account managers to take on more of the hands-on implementation or strategic work, what do you do?
So most agencies that we work with either have a strategist in place or a media buyer who can facilitate like the advertising strategy, or the agency owner really enjoys kind of the piece of the puzzle where they're mapping out the plan and then we're helping the team to execute it. So really the goal is to come in, we take over all the, 90% of the communication and proactive communication and client relationship, and the agency owner generally still takes that 10% of kind of the overall strategy when the new client comes on board.
Your ideal client is crystal clear. They're looking for a trained client servicing account manager. Tell me about your training.
So our training manager, Emma, actually took all of our knowledge, all of our brains, and put it into a training program called CAM School, which is Client Account Management School, which is our flagship training program that we developed for our own team members to train them. So it's everything from, the DOT method, which is how we do things and why we do things, and why we're premium account managers, but also how to report things to clients in a way that's really strategic and is positive, and what are ways that you can communicate or understanding clients, and like all these things that go into a really good account manager. We basically just packaged it up into 7 modules, 150 lessons, but essentially inside of our hiring process, we make sure that every single one of our team members passes CAM school with flying colors before they ever get hired into Dot & Company as a client account manager.
I think people listening would love to have an inside peek at how you hire a great account manager. Tell us more about your process.
So a lot of the things we're looking for initially before we meet them are experience. So how much experience do you have in marketing? Like baseline, you have to have experience. Secondly is your written communication skills. So we put them through different assessments and kind of see how they answer questions. Our team then evaluates that. So based on what did they say in their answers, but how did they say it? And then we check for, their video skills. So we spend 100% of our time on Zoom. We don't meet people in person. So we put them through different assessments based on, answer these questions on a video so that we can see how they interact on video. Are they confident? Are they prepared? Are they professional? Are they speaking, the way that we as Dot & Company expect them to be speaking? Because those are skills that we can't necessarily teach them. We can teach them best practices, but those soft skills they have to come with. And then they would have an interview. So we're looking for certain things like they're passionate about the client account management role, passionate about working here at Dot & Company. How confident are they? Are they ready to step into an agency tomorrow and start working with them? All those things that go into a really good hire, we're kind of checking on every single step of our hiring process. So it's an equal mix between written and verbal and experience and all these things that kind of go into a really good account manager.
Your business model reminds me of the virtual assistant business model, where virtual assistants are vetted, hired, and trained through a company that manages the virtual assistants. Except you're hyper niched, and that hyper niche is genius. What motivated you to start your business?
What I found was that when I was the agency owner working with clients and I was talking to them, but also doing the work on the back end, I felt responsible for every single piece of the whole marketing strategy. So when they had feedback, maybe it was positive, maybe it was negative, I took it so personally. And I think most of us as agency owners do that, right? Because we're the ones who are doing the entire thing. And if they say why did this ad tank? It's like, oh my gosh, the whole business is ruined. We're going under, it's over. I can't handle it. But what I realized was when I looked at other agencies, I was like, I can talk to your clients and I'm not going to have that same emotional impact when working with the clients. And so I said, okay, I'm just going to start to contract myself out, not take any more agency clients, and just work with other agencies' clients and see how it feels to me, see if this model really works. And I started working inside of these businesses and I cared so deeply about the agency owner as well as their clients, but it was just one layer removed in terms of the emotional impact that it had when managing clients. So I realized that there were so many agency owners who were just like me out there who were still managing their clients. And I said, okay, well, if I can do this for a few agencies and contract myself out, and then replicate myself and find people who are like me, then this could work. And it was at that point where I was like, okay, Taylor, you can keep doing this yourself and just, work with agencies, have a nice life, that's fine. Or I can grow this thing into a team. And I realized really early on that in order for me to actually go out and build, quote, an agency, was to find somebody straight away to manage my clients and to manage my team, because those were the two things that I was not good at when it came to growing my agency before, was getting way too involved with the clients from the beginning or way too involved with the team members. I knew I needed that first hire. And if I made that first hire, then we could grow this into a team. And so kind of thinking about what the things I liked about growing an agency or started to grow an agency, and then what were the things I would do differently. And it was honestly the most important decision for me to take it from 1 to now 25 and growing.
Did you know that I have a free team growth roadmap? Imagine if you didn't spend all day, every day in the weeds of running your business. That can mean more flexibility, more freedom, less overwhelm. I created the team growth roadmap to help my clients gain direction on the strategic systems and leadership actions for a streamlined business and a self-managing team to grow your business. Inside the roadmap, I share my COMPASS method, an acronym for each step of the roadmap to get you out of the weeds of running your business and help you have a small but mighty team that gives you more freedom and flexibility. You can get all the details over at audreyjoykwan.com. That's AudreyJoykwan.com, or click the link in the show notes right there in your podcast app. Back to the show. Now that you're 3 years in and you have a team supporting you, what are you focusing on in your business, and what does your team look like?
Yeah. So my goal from the beginning was to focus more on marketing and sales. And I think that's most agency owners out there. You know, it's what you're really good at. It's those pieces. So now I focus solely on marketing and sales. So I'm, still talking to clients on sales calls and making sure they're a good fit for our agency, but also kind of looking at that whole marketing strategy. And that is honestly my favorite part of the business. When I sit down and I'm like writing copy or doing our podcast, that's my favorite part. And now we have Katie, who oversees our team of account managers. And then we have Emma, who does the entire training side. So she builds Cam School and trains our client account managers one-on-one and builds our shop and products and things like that. And then we have 2 assistants who help with our marketing and our podcast. And then we have a team of account managers. So they are working right inside of other agencies. And the best part really is that we have this really cool culture of, sharing things back and forth and asking questions and sharing wins and opportunities from other agencies, which is really great.
You're a visionary, and I feel from you that you've got big plans.
Yeah, definitely the team growth is my biggest passion. I just always think back to the jobs that I've had before in a cubicle, and that just wasn't for me. And the people that we're attracting into Dot & Company are just like me, right? They're creative, meets, we love talking to people, but we need our alone time, but we want to travel and, kind of that balanced lifestyle. So giving more people this opportunity to have like their dream job in whatever capacity they want is definitely my vision.
Before we wrap up, what keeps you inspired and at your best?
Definitely traveling. And so it's been really hard these last 2 years because my vision for starting this business was to be remote before remote was cool and to travel and bring your laptop wherever you want. And then the pandemic hit and it was like, oh my gosh, like everyone's working from home. This isn't even cool anymore. But now that we're back out and able to travel, like changing my scenery is the most important. So we're down here in the Dominican for 2 months, changing my office space and just like finding ways to meet new people and get out and think differently is definitely what keeps me inspired. I love listening to other people's podcasts like yours and, really just picking up on like the pain points that other people have and saying like, okay, Taylor, like you might have been dramatic about having too many meetings, but like everyone else has too many meetings and like you just need to optimize the process and, just like really understanding that you're not alone in business is I think the most important thing is continuously reminding yourself of, you got this, like pick your feet up, like you can do it. And then of course, staying true to your vision. So journaling every day of exactly what you want and really just like setting your goals based on the feeling that you want to have, not the number that you want on your revenue sheet is definitely what keeps me going every day.
Thank you. Taylor, where can people find you?
So you can find us over at dotandcompany.co. dotandcompany.co. We're over on Instagram, LinkedIn, and we also have a podcast called the Happy Clients Podcast. So if you want to learn more about our methods and what we're up to, definitely check that out as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Audrey.
Thanks for listening to the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review on iTunes. It would mean the world to me. Or send a screenshot on Instagram while tagging me at Audrey Joy Kwan.